Welcome back, my fellow fixin' engineers, to Constructive Chaos and another episode of How to Satisfactory 1.1. That's right, as you can probably tell from the slick new menu screen, Update 1.1 has officially landed. And with it comes a whole bunch of shiny new features, upgrades, and chaos-inducing tools for us to play with. Like elevators, that we can't make yet because apparently vertical convenience is a luxury item. Hypertube junctions, that we haven't gotten to or really even need yet, but if you're the kind of person who likes zipping through tubes like a human bank deposit, good news. They got upgrades. A cool new blueprint feature. I mean, we haven't unlocked that yet either, but it's sitting there in the menu like soon, maybe if you're good. Priority mergers and conveyor throughput displays. That, well, also a future luxury, but hey, visual clutter is just part of the early game aesthetic. There's also train rail ends and other quality of life updates for the trains. Again, out of reach for now, but nice to know the devs love us. So yeah, our little playthrough is still very much in its toddler years. So what can we actually play with right now? Well, quite a few things actually. Let's break it down. We got controller support now. It's great if you're on a Steam Deck or you like to chill on the couch while making your iron rods. In order to turn this on, you want to go into your options and then go to controls. And then right here you see select controls, keyboard and mouse, or controller. So if you want to play with controller, select that, hit apply, and confirm. At that point, keyboard and mouse will be non-functional and you will only have access to using the controller. I personally will be sticking to keyboard and mouse for this game, but for those of you who prefer controller, it's great to have that as an option. And while we're talking about options, we can go into another new one under gameplay. They have the dismantle crate placement option now, which you can choose either next to player or on dismantle site. You can also have all the dismantle crates within a 100-meter range, all merged together by check marking this little box right here under merge dismantle crates. And speaking of dismantling, another great feature that I have been waiting for a long time to be added into this game is the ability to dismantle the crash sites. No longer will you be out in the world adventuring around and see a crash site and think to yourself, did I already grab the hard drive out of that thing? Now after opening the crates and getting the hard drive, you can just dismantle the crash site altogether. We also have plenty of new building options, updates, and features added in with 1.1, such as vertical splitters and mergers. Now you can take a splitter or a merger, add it to any vertical conveyor belt like so, in any position up or down, and then either have it split into two separate directions, or you can have it merge from two different directions into the vertical conveyor belt. So previously in Update 1.0, they added the straight build mode to our conveyor belts. Now in 1.1, we can do the exact same thing with pipes. But wait, that is not the only thing they have added. We got another new build mode that works not only with the pipes, but also with the conveyor belts. And that is a curved build mode, which is kind of cool. It just gives us more options. One of the best new abilities that they have added to the game recently was nudge mode, which lets us take something like, say, a foundation or a machine, and we can just nudge it over either left, right, forward, back, something like that. But with 1.1, we get something even better. Now we can nudge up and down using the page up or page down keys respectively. And if that doesn't float your boat, well, they've also removed the limits for nudging. So now we can nudge as much as our heart's content. We've also got all kinds of new stuff that we can unlock now in the Fix It Awesome shop with our coupons. Things like structural cable packs with braided cables and braided cable clusters, a beam expansion pack which gives us round concrete beams, shelf beams, H-beams. We got these cool new fans and vents which will give our factories a much more industrial look. The new roll-up gate's been added and it looks pretty cool working with your tractors and trucks. Looking for a new way to store all of your personal storage boxes? Well, we got the new basic shelf units. And there's also something that I have been asking for and hoping that we would get forever since I first started playing this game, and that is the conveyor wall hose right here. Now, we already did have walls that had the conveyor hose already in them that came in the 1, 2, or 3 hole flavor. But now we can take a conveyor wall hole itself and place it anywhere we want on any wall. This is so much better. Instead of trying to struggle to make sure that my conveyor belts fit into one of these properly, I can just have it go wherever I want. This might actually be my favorite new addition to 1.1. There's also the new photo mode, which is super cool for content creators like myself. I could probably do an entire episode just on that. If that's something you guys would like, let me know. Now, all of these new additions are great and everything, but honestly, you guys probably already know about most, if not all of them. So, let's be honest, that is not why you are here watching my video. We are here to grow the factory and maybe learn a few new things along the way. That being said, I have one goal today for this video, and that is to unlock the personal elevator. To do so, we need two things. We need to get silica, and we need to unlock advanced steel production. Let's tackle quartz first, since it's going to open up a ton of other awesome things. But to start unlocking the quartz research tree, well, we're going to need actual quartz. So chances are you may have already found some of these smaller deposits of quartz while you've been out adventuring around in the world. It's these kind of pink rock looking things right here. But these aren't enough. To really progress, we need an actual quartz node. A full-on, place a miner on it, dedicated source. There are two great options near us, and I say near with the kind of optimism usually reserved for tax returns. So before we head out, let's do some prep work first. First up, we're going to need some portable miners. About 6 should do it. Also, build yourself an extra tractor. We're going on a bit of a road trip. Nothing too wild, but trust me, walking back isn't ideal. And of course, in order to run the tractor, it needs fuel. Luckily, I have about 200 coal right here, so I'm going to throw one stack into the fuel source and the other one into storage, just in case we run out somewhere. Now, like I said, there are two sources for quartz that are kind of close to us. I'm going to show you both of them, but I'm going to start with the one that's, I guess you could say, closer. But not only that, but there's also a couple other things I can show you while we're taking care of business. Alright, so where are we going? Well, let's bring up our map real quick by hitting M on the keyboard. And right here we are. And you can kind of see over here, there's this little bit of blue right here. That's a river, kind of? Pond? I don't know. I'm going to call it a creek. We're going to call it a creek. Where we want to go is we want to get over to that, and then we want to follow it all the way up here to its end. So since this right here is the giant arch, it gives us kind of an idea of how we're going to make this trip right here. Alright, so away we go. We're essentially heading towards this pink kind of forest over here. Alright, so when you get to right about the edge of the pink forest right here, and right here on our map, you're going to see that the terrain kind of slopes down towards the water. And right here you can kind of see there's a little bit of a road right in front of us. What we're going to do is we're going to drive down in here, following this road until we get to right about where the water's edge is. Once you get to the edge of the creek, we're going to go ahead and hop off. We're going to walk the rest of the way. Don't forget to remember where you parked at. Now, the reason we're going to walk the rest of the way here is because I want to show you a new enemy type that in the series I don't believe we have actually encountered yet. Though, again, chances are maybe you have. Now, you want to make sure you have your Xeno Basher out, not the rebar gun, because the rebar gun you're going to have a hard time with. Alright, so what I'm going to do, so I can kind of show you guys this, is I'm actually going to go towards that little geyser that's right in the middle of this this creek right here. So we're going to go to the other side so we can get a better look at this. Now, once we kind of get over here just a little bit, kind of closer to that geyser, you can kind of see a blue power slug right there just chilling. And then right next to it is what appears to be one of the eggs from Aliens. And trust me, I actually wish that there was a face hugger in that thing, because that would be a lot easier to deal with instead of what's actually in there. Alright, so what these are firefly nests, and once you get close to them, they will open up and then it will shoot out about 3 fireflies. And these things didn't used to be so bad, but apparently they got a lot more powerful in some of the more recent updates, and a swarm of them can honestly kill you if you're not careful. The easiest way to get rid of them is you want to run as fast as you can to it and hope you can get to it and get in a couple of hits before it spits out any of the fireflies themselves. Now, be warned, I'm pretty sure there are actually 2 right beyond this tree, so we want to try to get both of them as fast as we can. So I'm just going to run to it. You can kind of see it starting to open now. And I'm just going to start hitting it and try to get it. And I think we got it. All right, so full disclosure, there were actually 2 here. However, I already got one before I filmed this section to show you guys about this. But hey, while we're here, this is a great opportunity to tell you about the new visual effects that you can see here on the power slugs. They got a bit of a glow up. We're just going to go ahead and grab this guy right here. We can squish this guy down into jam shortly and make a nice power shard out of it. And you know what the difference between jelly and jam is? Well, I can't jelly this power slug into a tube. Alright, so enough funny business. Let's continue on our way over here. We got to get to this quartz node. And again, just keep following this river or creek all the way up through here. Keeping an eye out for those firefly nests because you never know when they're going to pop up. Alright, so as we've come to the end of our little creek right here, we are going to come right down to a quartz node right here in the middle of the dry area right here. This is a normal node. There's another one around here somewhere. I think it's up in there somewhere. But there's actually a pure node right up on top of that little plateau right there if you want to go on up to that. But this honestly should suffice. So let's go ahead and throw down 3 portable miners right here. These guys are great. They really dig their jobs. Alright, all bad puns aside, while these guys are taking care of business, I'm going to show you something else new that's been added into the game. So with Satisfactory 1.1, we got some new animation effects for when you're cutting around foliage and stuff with a chainsaw, particularly trees. Trees will actually fall now when you cut them down instead of just disappearing. But you know these giant plants right here on the stems with the bulbs on the top? Well, they do something even cooler. Let's go ahead and cut one down real quick. Timber! As you can see there, the trees will fall. That's the new animation effect, and this is amazing. The little floaty bulbs on the end of them will float up off into the atmosphere somewhere and probably explode with poison gas that's going to change us all into mutants. I don't really know, and not really worried about it too much right now at the moment. But hey, I kind of stumbled upon that, and I thought it was cool, and thought I would share it with you guys. Alright, back down here, let's go ahead and pick up the quartz from our portable miners. 1, 2, and 3. That's going to give us 300 quartz, and that's plenty to do us for what we're going to need in the short term. Next thing I want to do is let's go into our map, and we might as well mark this area right here so that we remember where it's at later on. The little rock symbol right down here I think is a perfect symbol for this. I'll click it, and then we'll just place it right there on top of our icon, and voila. Now we have this marked to come back later if we need to. At this point, we'll follow the creek bed back up to where we parked our tractor. You know, it occurs to me, I never talked about this guy. He was on screen just a little bit earlier, and I didn't mention it. Kind of forgot about it. But he is also new to the game. And don't worry, he's actually harmless as long as you don't bother him. They're kind of over here in this area, so you may come across him. You may not. This giant flea-looking thing. He apparently has a code and likes to sneeze poison gas, so he's harmless as long as you're not close to it. Let's put it that way. I don't really have a name for this guy, but I think I'll just come up with one on the fly right now. I think we'll call him Mr. Fleeby, because he looks like a flea. Alright, back on the tractor, and let's make our way back to our base. Alright, so let's take our quartz back over here to our MAM Research Center. And we're going to have a brand new research thing here, quartz. Let's go ahead and start digging into this. So the first one is just scannable resource. We'll do that one. All right, that's going to unlock 2 more nodes, the ability to unlock quartz crystals and silica. Let's do silica first. That unlocks the next 2 nodes on this tree, blade runners, which are basically fix-it approved rocket legs. Once you wear them, walking feels like a personal insult. We definitely are going to be getting those in this episode. And another inflated pocket dimension we can grab later on. Let's go ahead and do the quartz crystals now. And that unlocks shadow rebars and crystal oscillators that we can do next. Neither of which I'm concerned about at this very moment. I'm more worried about these blade runners. Let's go ahead and grab these guys. To unlock these, we need 50 silica, which we can now make, and 10 of the modular frames. Alright, let's find us a crafting bench. Here we go. And let's go ahead and make that silica. So we need 50 of it. Alright, take our parts back over here to the MAM, find the quartz tree, and blade runners, start research. Alright, so now we have access to those, we just need to make them, which is done in one of our workshops. Here we are, blade runners, we need, let's see, 20 silica, 3 modular frames and 3 rotors. So I'll make those rotors first, and then the silica, and then back to the workshop, and we can craft our blade runners. Once they're crafted, we'll open up our inventory, we'll take them, and we'll put them on our legs, of course. So what are the blade runners? Well, they're kind of like the bottom half of an exosuit. Bionic legs, if you will. With these guys equipped, you can run faster and jump higher. You might even be as fast as one of the tractors. May have to race one later just to see. Alright, so that was the first location that we can use for Quartz. There is a second location that is a little bit further away. However, it might actually be a little easier to get to. Maybe? Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is we are going to head over to the right of our space elevator tower down here. And if you are familiar with the terrain, you will know that there is a giant canyon right behind it. So we're going to drive down into this canyon here. Now, if you've explored a lot of this area, you should know that once we get down here to the bottom, where all this kind of slopes down here at, and we come down here in this big, giant, grassy field, there's actually a huge, gigantic pit right there. So what we want to do is not go into the pit. Instead, we're going to go up here to the right. Right, so we got the pit right over there. It's to the left. We're going to go up this way in between all of these arches here, in between these gas rocks. Just going to dodge those strategically. Giant, there's a purple slug right up there on top of that. Not worried about the purple slug right now, though. We are going to go this way and kind of go all the way up in here. We want to go all the way up in between these giant arches up in here, all underneath these rocks, and kind of follow this. This looks like a ditch line. I would say it's a road, but this looks more like a ditch line. We're going to follow this all the way up through here. Once we get up here, there's going to be a bit of a pond right here. We're going to go around the pond to the left-hand side, and again, just going to kind of keep going uphill to the left a little bit right here. You see all those pink trees? We're heading that direction. Those look like cherry trees. Looks like a cherry tree and a pine tree had a love child. Alright, keep going uphill through the little deserty area here. We are pretty close. These should be up on top here. Let's see. We have some more gas rocks. Just kind of keep following this. Keep following through the gas rocks right around here, and there we go. This is another area that you can get quartz at. Let's just go ahead and jump off here and take care of our spitter we got. Oh, that's much bigger than I thought that was. Oh, you know, from on top of the tractor, she looks smaller. You remember this as the day? You almost killed me. Alright, where was I? Oh yes. So we got 2 quartz nodes up here. Both of these are pure. I'm pretty sure that one is definitely pure. No, one is pure, one is normal. So a normal node and a pure node up here. Pretty far out of the way. Let's check our map right here so you can kind of see where we're at. So as you can see, this is where our hub and stuff is, right down here. And then this is where we came to. So the other one, as you can see, is right down here. So technically, it is closer. Might be a little harder to get to. I think this one it's further away, but it might just be easier to get to, and is probably a good place to put a miner and maybe like build an outpost that we can start, you know, doing quartz and silica and all that up here at some point in the future. Nothing we need to do right now at the moment, though. I'll go ahead and mark this spot as well. And then we'll head back to the hub. So now you guys have an option of where you want to grab your quartz at. You got 2 different places right there. There's a power slug right over there on that rock. I'm going to grab him real quick. It was a trap. They ambushed me. How dare they? You know, the blue slugs look more like they're white slugs now. I mean, I like the glowy effects, but don't know if I like the coloring. Alright, let's head home. I'm actually curious if the run off this cliff will kill me. Oh, well that's an easier way down. You know, all the years I've been playing this game, I never actually tested that before. But now we know, and knowing is half the battle. Alright, home sweet home. Alright, so our goal for this episode is still the same. I want to unlock the personal elevator, which is under architecture in the Fix It Awesome shop. We have the silica now. Now we just need to unlock the next thing in the hub, which is advanced steel production. So let's take a look here. It's in Tier 4, Advanced Steel Production. It will give us the Mark II miner. That'll be awesome. Would love to have that. We'll be able to make encased industrial beams, the stator, the motor, and automated wiring, which is one of the things we are going to be needing to complete Phase 2. So to unlock this, we need 100 steel pipes, 100 modular frames, 200 rotors, and 500 concrete. The steel pipes shouldn't be a problem. We should have those by now. Same for the concrete. The rotors and the modular frames, that might be a thing. But let's go ahead and select this as our milestone. Let's get our 500 concrete. That's one stack, easy. Let's head over here to where our steel and everything is kept. Let's see, which one of these was the pipes again? This one, over here on the left. All right, so we'll grab... Oh, that's completely full. That shouldn't be a problem at all. So let's grab a stack of steel pipes. All right, now, 100 modular frames and 200 rotors. All right, so we'll just head up here to the top where we're making those guys at. Let's see here. I have 34 modular frames. I've got 50 right here. Let's go ahead and grab those. It's going to leave me approximately 20 short. Hopefully it won't take too long to get those guys. And let's take a look over here at rotors. We got 100 in here. And that's all the rotors I've got right now at the moment. But we are making the rotors and then sending them over here to make the smart plates. So there should be some more in here. There's not. Oh, because at some point we have turned this off. All right, well, we will keep that off for the time being so we can just gather as many as we can over on our actual rotor assembler. So it's going to take a few minutes for us to actually be able to get the rotors and the modular frames that we are going to need. It is a slow process with our assemblers. We don't need to be making the smart plates over here right now at the moment. I have another plan for that later on. We could go ahead and just turn this into another machine making our modular frames if I so wanted. And I think that is what we are going to do. Let's go ahead and turn both of these into making modular frames right here. All right, so what is our recipe to make the modular frames again? Let's see. Reinforced iron plates and iron rods. Okay, let's drop down here underneath. Boop. And let's see what we can do here. So what do we have going in here? Obviously, this is where... All right, we have the reinforced iron plates going in here. It's actually already going into that machine, so we don't need to do anything on that one. However, instead of having the rotors to go in on this side, so we'll take that out right there. Instead, what we need to do is get these iron rods right here to also go in over here. Let's see, so it's being split right there. And it looks like that is taking all of them. So we're going to need to make more of the iron rods. Shouldn't be an issue. And then I need to have them come down here. So let's go ahead and take a belt. And let's make sure that is in straight mode. And let's go ahead and put this belt into right there where our rotors used to be. We'll go ahead and take that out and redo it because it's got a bunch of the rotors already kind of stuck in it. There we go. That should clear that out. Hey, no. All right, so I kind of made a mistake right here, and I accidentally have center output for our smart splitter right here as being overflow. Instead, this actually needs to be iron rods that we need to be putting in there. So I'll do that. All right, so that should be sending any extra iron rods that's not going in that way. It should come down through here. Hit this, and then coming over here. But where I already had that messed up, I got to redo this one more time. All right, so conveyor belt, and then redo our conveyor lift as well, because that also probably has some iron plates in it. And then we need to come behind our assembler and take this one out and put it back in. That should clear out any unnecessary pieces in there that don't need to be there. And then we need to configure this to make, let's see, the modular frames. All right, so iron rods, 12 per minute. And then, wait, we need this to match what we're doing over here. So what are we doing here? All right, yes, 2 per minute. So 3 reinforced iron plates per minute, 12 iron rods per minute. Okay. So now I just need to head down here, make sure we're producing enough iron rods and reinforced iron plates to run everything that we're doing up here. So it looks like our rotor machine here is needing 20 iron rods per minute. And then for the modular frames, that's 12 and 12. So that's 24. That's 44. So we need a total of 44 iron rods. All right, so 44 iron rods. That's how many we need total, I think, right? Yes, because we're using the screws to make the iron plates, so the only place the rods are going is up there. So we need a total of 44 of those guys. All right, so our first 2 machines right here, our first 2 constructors are making our iron rods. How many are we making total right now? We are making a total of 30? 30. All right, so we're doing 30 iron rods per minute, but we need 44. So we need to up the rod making. All right, so we are going to need some power shards. Do I have any of those? I don't have any extra over here, but I do have 2 power slugs. So, all right, 2 power slugs will give us 2 power shards. All right, so we'll throw 1 in here. All right, now that should be, how many are we making now? 22.5. Yep, all right, so we're going to need both of these running at max. So I'll throw that in there. There we go. And that is 22 and 22 is 44 plus 1/2 each, 45. All right, so we're doing 45 iron rods per minute. That'll work. That'll work just fine. However, we're going to need 45 iron ingots for that. So let's see. How many are we making here and throwing in there? 30. All right, we're only making 30. And it's dividing into both of these. Okay, so we need another power shard for this guy to jump production up on it. All right, so over here, behind where we're making all of our copper stuff, there's a yellow slug right on the edge of that rock. Right next to those gas rocks. So I just need to get to him. What if we do this? What if I take 3 2-meter ramps, like so. 1, 2, and 3. And then we'll take some normal ramps, and we'll do that, and that. And then, how close can I get here? I think I might be able to get just close enough. Oh, nope. All right, we'll put 1 more there, and this is going to have to be fast. There we go. All right, that will make us 2 power shards right there. We'll get rid of these ramps right here. We don't need those anymore. Head back over here, turn this yellow slug into 2 power shards. Man, I love the Blade Runners. It makes running around so much easier. All right, let's see. 2 power slugs. Right there. Power shard 2. All right, we'll turn those guys. All right, let's head down here to this smelter right here. Let's upgrade him. There we go. All right, now we're making 45 per minute. So we need 45 iron ore. So 45 here. And then, are you making 30? Is that correct? No, you're making 42. 42 per minute. Okay. So we'll say 45 and 45. That is a total of 90. So let's take a look at our miner. Our miner's just turned down. So if I just turn that up right there, that'll do the job. All right. 90 iron ore divided in between these 2 guys to make 45 iron ingots each. Okay. And then that's going to go over here to make our cast screws and go into these guys to make our iron rods. Okay. Iron rod problem fixed. We should be making plenty enough to make our modular frames now. Now we just need to make sure that we are making 6 reinforced iron plates per minute. Okay, well, we're making our reinforced iron plates right here. So let's take a look. We're currently making 5. Well, I need more than 5. Alright, so what I could do here is I could throw a power shard into this guy and then just up it so that we are making 6 instead of the 5. That, I mean, we could do that. We have the power shard right here, and that would be the easiest thing right now to do. Or I could save the power shard, and instead I can put down another assembler right here and turn them both down to making 3 each. So we have a couple of options, and I think I'm going to go with the option to do 2 of these. So I'm just going to put another one of these right next to this. Make sure it's perfectly in line with our other one right there. And then I'll move it to right there. Looks fine. We'll throw a couple of floor holes behind it here. Throw some conveyor lifts on top of that and connect them into the assembler. And let's see, I also need one, looks like right here as well. So I'll come down here, put it right there, and then connect that. Make sure that is changed so that that is a input. There we go. Do I have the space to be able to do this underneath of here? Let me see. Yes. Yes, we do. All right, so currently I have this kind of going this direction. So what we'll do, I'll take that out like so, which honestly we never even had a conveyor hole there to begin with. So let's fix that. Man, the Blade Runners are so nice. I can jump so much higher. I don't have to like mess around with any of this. So, all right, we'll do floor hole right here. Connect that onto that. All right, so there goes that. And now, let's see here. I just need to connect these two guys together. So let's do this. Let's have a conveyor come down. Which way do I want to go? I'm going to go this direction. I'm going to have it facing towards the south. I'll do both of these this way. So like that. All right, and then we'll do a merger right here in front of this one. That's a smart splitter. Here we go. Merger. All right, I want to make sure that the output is facing this way, like that. And then we'll connect up some conveyor belts. So conveyor belt from the merger into this merger here. Then we'll connect the conveyor lift into this guy here. And then this conveyor lift into that, like so. All right, so now I think we're golden. I just need to make sure we have enough parts for all this. So let's turn this down right here. This is going to make 3 per minute, like so. All right, and then we'll come over here. Actually, let's do this. Let's copy settings, and then we'll paste the settings here. All right, so I need a total. Let's see, 36 and 36. I'm really bad with math, so 36 times 2, 72. I need a total of 72 screws. How many screws are we making? All right, this machine is making 100. This one is making 75. So we're making 175 screws per minute. Why are we making so many screws? I mean, it's been a while since I've actually been into this game. Let's see. We're sending the screws down here. So that's 36. Oh, they're being sent up here for something, aren't they? Oh, 100. 100 per minute. Right here. This guy. This guy's using all the screws. Okay, so 100 screws. And then, how many did I say I needed? 72. 172 screws. We're making 175 screws. That seems correct. I think we're going to be alright. I mean, unless I'm forgetting something, which is possible. Like I said, it's been a little bit since I've played the game here on this map. I think we're alright. Let's see. So next I need to come back here. These guys need to be put in. So we'll do... let me get a conveyor lift. So we'll do conveyor lift right there on the bottom of that. All right, I'm not fond of how this is coming across through here, so we're probably going to have to take this out right here. And let's see, so that's going into there. Let's put a splitter in right here. All right, so we'll put it right there in front of that first one. Okay. Ooh, how is this going to work? Oh, wait. Okay, here's the screws. That's the plates. Okay. All right, so what I need to do is I need to split this right here. So let's get rid of this. And let's take a splitter, and we'll put it right here in front of that. All right, and that will be our screws will go into here. Okay. Yeah, so that will take some of the screws, put it into that. Now I just need to get the plates over into this. So plates are coming across. This is not going to work correctly right here, like at all. Okay, I've got it. Let's take out that splitter right there. Let's take out both of these lifts here and here. Let's see. I apparently don't have conveyor holes here, so let's come out here. Let's, okay, I can't see from here, so just gonna do it the way I think it should be, which is probably gonna be right about here. I think that's about right. All right, so we'll do that. Input. All right, and there we go. So that will go into there, and then come down here on the bottom of that. Oh, I messed up again. Take that back out. All right, instead I'm going to turn this way, like that. We're going to do this one the same way, like so. Let's put a splitter right in between both of these guys here. And then connect it up with belts like so, and here. Now I just need this to get over there to where we was bringing it from to begin with. Easy peasy. I will just do something like this here if I can get that to where I want it to go. That'll work. So there, I'll lock it into place. I'll move it over just on the edge of that, like there. All right, let's connect our belt up here. And then what I want to do is get it kind of to here. And then connect from here, right on the edge of that, going over top of our screws. Come over here to the other side so I can see a little better. And that kind of works. Let me see here. All right, I think that's too close. So yeah, right there. Then we'll just finish coming out from over here. And we'll just bring this over here. Connect it into that. Will that work? Kinda. It doesn't really look very good. What I need to do is come over here. And we'll need to place this on top of one of these. Like there. Alright, and then we'll connect that belt into that. And we'll put it right there on the edge of that. Get rid of this. Get rid of that. Come over here. And then connect these guys together. Right there. There, that looks good. Take out this platform. Take out that conveyor ball. And, alright, we should have it. Alright, now we just need some power. I'll grab this pole, connect it to the wire, then bring it over here to right about there on the edge. And then connect a wire from there to the power pole. Alright, that should be good. Let's see. What are we making here? All right, we need 18 plates here, 18 plates over here. That's 36 plates. How am I doing these plates? All right, so the plates should be fine as far as our line goes. Again, unless I've forgotten something from a previous version. How many are we making total? 20. 20, we're making 40. Those are the only things that need the plates, right? Yeah, okay. All right, we're good. I did notice that when I was copying some of these around, I accidentally put in Mark 1s. So I'm just going to change everything over to Mark 3s. Make sure our belts are also Mark 3s. They are. I think we're going to be good on that. These are Mark 2s over here. Mark 2s are fine. That's fine. All right, come back up here and let's turn our machine on. And we should be working now. All right, so now we got two machines making our modular frames, one making our rotors. Are we good on the rotors? We're good on the rotors. That's 200 rotors now. Another 50 modular frames. Sure, I'll take those. And that should be everything we need to unlock our next tier here. All right, 100 pipes, 100 modular frames, 200 rotors, 500 concrete. Voila! Big red button. All right, cool. Now we can make the Mark II miners. We'll probably do something with that in the next episode. We can make the industrial beam stators, motors, the automated wiring. All of that can be made now in assemblers. But most importantly, let's grab all of our tickets that we've got. And let's head back up here to the Fix-It shop. Yep, we can finally unlock the personal elevator. It's 10 tickets, which is awesome. And you know, I don't know if this was something they added in 1.1 or 1.0. I've never really noticed it before because I've always done this kind of the same way. But there's now, I can just hit the shopping basket button right here on the item and add it to cart, which I never knew that was possible until today, honestly. Yeah, used to I would just go into it and click add to cart, and then I'd have to back out and do, you know, like click that. Now I can just, you know, shop as my heart's content. But anyway, it's in a shopping cart. Let's go ahead and buy it.
Due to Pioneer request and several reported issues with staircases, there is now a more efficient solution. The Fix-It personnel elevator ensures optimal safety by putting a Pioneer in a box controlled by a rudimentary AI, specialized in soothing a straining mind. Exposure to a Fix-It personnel elevator is recommended to be a minimum of 2 minutes per day for optimal gain.
We've got the elevator! Yeah, finally. All right, let's head over to our space... Oh, wait. Before I head over to the space elevator, what do I need to make this? We better check that real quick. Architecture? Yes? No? Not under architecture. Where you at? Transport. Of course it would be transport. All right, so personal elevators. We need... Looks like steel beams and silica. And for the elevator floor stop, we need, looks like motors, modular frames, and steel beams. So we're going to need lots of steel beams. We're going to need lots of silica and at least one motor. Let's go ahead. How many motors can I make real quick here? I can't make any because I need stators. Okay, I can make stators though. All right, I can make, we'll do 2 motors. That's 2 floors. Gonna need a minimum, I'm gonna say 100 silica. We are making like 5 at a time though, so it shouldn't take too long. All right, so got my 100 silica. Let's go grab some beams. I'll grab a stack of beams. All right, and then over to the space elevator tower we shall go. All right, it took me absolutely no time at all to get from our main hub all the way over here to the space elevator tower. I should have unlocked the Blade Runners a long time ago. I don't know why I didn't. I just didn't, but you know, hey, we have them now. So now that we're over here, let's go ahead and play around with the elevator because I'll be honest, I barely touched Satisfactory 1.1 when it was in experimental mode. I just did not have time to do anything with it, and I messed around more in the main version, like the 1.0 release. So yeah, I just never really fooled with the experimental one. So I haven't really played with the elevator at all. This would be my first time ever building one. So let's take out our ladder right there. Let's take that one out too. What I want to do is I want to put one from, let's do an elevator going from right here up to that area right there. Yeah, I'm going to go to right there. So first thing I'm going to do is just kind of expand this out just a little bit here. And we'll do here, here, here. That should be enough space. Yeah, all right. Now, we'll go Q for our build menu. It was under transport, personal elevator. So we do personal elevator first, I'm guessing. And I don't need to have Zoop on because I guess it does it automatically. It does, okay. And then we'll just build that up until the floor is right where I want it. Maybe? That looks correct. I can't tell from here, but that looks right. Oh, we already have our first stop right here. Okay, cool. So it builds when you build the first one. On the bottom, it puts your first stop. All right, so we just need to build the elevator floor stop in. And, oh, I'm missing a motor. What? I thought I made enough motors. Oh, wait. Maybe it did it automatically. Maybe I don't need to. Let's find out. Yeah, I don't have to build the second floor. It does it automatically. Cool. All right, so let's go in here. All right, so we've got our console right here. We can select a floor. Let's select this one. No? Oh, okay. Oh! There's no power. Yeah, that's right. We need to get power over to this. Okay. All right, I'm going to go from that power pole right on top of that rock near our hub. And then I'll run this over here to here. Can I do that? Kinda. All right. Good enough. All right, we'll connect it to the side of the building there. And then I will just run this down. So it looks like it needs to connect to the stops. And apparently when I put this in, I have the stop in the wrong place. Okay. Alright, I can take out the elevator floor stop, and then I should be able to build one in, and then turn it so it's facing the right way. And that definitely looks like that might be a little too low, but we'll find out in a minute. Alright, so there we go. And then I connect the power line from there to the front of that. I think that just did it. Alright, let's find out. Oh, I hear the elevator music. Alright, so go to stop. Huh? Oh, up we go. Oh, yeah, definitely a little too low. Oopsie. Alright, let's delete this. And let's try to get this right this time. Alright, so we're going to go from... Can I get it from the bottom? Alright, let's try this again. So I'm going to have the elevator doors facing this direction. And then we're going to move this up. And then... right there. That looks correct. So I'll turn that way. Alright, we should be good now. But we're not connected, so I need to get that connected again. So we're there to... let's go... Let's bring this down this time and across. Ooh, no, I don't like that either. I'm going to take that straight up. And from there, connect that to the front of this if I can. There we go. Got it. All right, now we should be good. Floor 2, please. Ahaha. That's awesome. That is pretty cool. Ooh. And then I can just like hit the button. Yeah, I can call the elevator from up here. So if I'm on this floor, I can do that. Press E to edit floor info. So I can give it different names. Edit elevator floor. Can I change the music? Alright, doesn't look like I can change the music, but that's fine. Oh, this is so cool. Oh, this is awesome. This is really, really, really awesome. Alright, so now we've got an elevator in. We can continue it from, like the next video. I will probably finish the rest of this on the way up. But I actually have completely different plans for our space elevator tower. In episode 15, I said we would bring over the Caterium from our waterfall hub over there. And we would bring it over here to the space elevator tower. And we would work in here. We put a transport hub in here and start doing some storage. Well, that was a while back ago, and I never got around to actually doing that because I had some trouble trying to figure out exactly how I was going to do all that. What I've eventually figured out is that we're going to rearrange the tower a little bit. We're going to make it larger. So that will be probably the next video, I think. Yeah, it shouldn't be too long before I get that. I do have a plan, and plans are always good to have. Much better than concepts of a plan, anyway. Alright, so that is going to do it. Mission accomplished. We got the elevator. So, guys, thanks for watching. If you found this helpful or just enjoy watching me fight flying fireballs in the name of logistics, give the video a like. Maybe subscribe if you're new, and drop a comment below if there's a specific 1.1 feature you want me to cover next. Maybe that photo mode episode? Yeah. Until then, stay efficient. Stay chaotic. Wherever you are in the world, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.